I have it up.
EG take map number 3, 13-6 to gain the lead in this series, just one away from knocking Shopify out of the tournament and maintaining their chances to go to Brazil. I'm your host, Mimi, joined back again by Sapphire and Bala. And to hop right into that one, Heather, it was really a massive revival from an EG who just took a really rough loss on Ascent.
Yeah, what a statement from the team there, not even necessarily being their map pick, but they looked incredibly strong on it. Most of the players had some really good moments, like props to the IGL. Thea, who just stepped into that role a week ago, had some really good reads on the team. I thought Keensey played really well, playing off that fault line of their teammate Power Pixel. With those two have been a duo for years, and that really shows. But really, what a statement response from EG here, and they're looking strong going into the next map.
I think something on the screen right now too, 12-7 first kills to first for EG is really incredible, especially because we're talking about a resurgence from them. Keensey was a big part of that. She had 5 in this one compared to Ascent where only 2 and was actually losing out quite a few. So that's the sort of thing that really steps up your game. And when you have that breach as such a tool, Potter was mentioning on the cast about how she's really using it like it's a pocket breach. Gave them extra confidence there, and yeah, that's exactly why you see EG come out with the win here.
And another reason why Keensey was able to succeed the way that they did was that other supportive initiator player in Lori, who had a standout map here on Haven. I think since joining this Shopify roster, since leaving Shopify, a lot of people have kind of put her more in the background, focusing more on her support. But every once in a while, she has a game like this that kind of reminds you how outstanding a player she is and how paramount she was to that Shopify run.
Yeah, this is a player that was a runner-up at the World Championship and kind of fell off from being discussed as one of the top players, but obviously surrounded by so many stars on the team. But Lori had an incredible moment here. There's a lot of diversity in her plays, a lot of aggression, multi-kill rounds, also backing up, and her utility was great for the team's multiple retakes. But for your Silva there to get over 300 ACS, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, she was so mobile on this one. Incredible work from Lori. And on top of that, doing it against her former team, maybe getting a little bit of a revenge there is awesome to see. But Bala, there was a lot of good stuff from EG, and you wanted to break down some of their ideas on their pistol round here.
Yeah, I think the pistol was super important. Shopify needed to win this, and EG came out with such a good idea. They actually got Keensey all the way into garage. They broke the turret. Then you see them feint and hit B a little bit, break all the KJ util, and Keensey grabbing so much attention on the other side of the map makes the execute so easy when it comes down to it all the way on A. So that's the sort of thing that is just really, really nicely considered from EG, and when you put that much emphasis in the pistol rounds, the rest of the game flows so well. And when you also see that game plan start on pistol round for attack side, you realize why that attack side was so strong for them and why Shopify only got 1 round when it came down to it.
We also saw in that round it forced a lot of mistakes out of Shopify, which we don't really see. Like, we saw those nades coming from heaven and no one was peeking off of that. So yeah, it's the strategies there were really forcing Shopify to make mistakes that they don't usually make.
Well, the 4th map of this series is upcoming, Sunset, one that these teams have both played before, but that we have not seen yet, I don't think, on the main broadcast here for Game Changers. Bolo, what can people expect from some of the ideas, comps that we might get here on Sunset?
Yeah, it's not a map that a lot of people have watched. Me, personally, I haven't either watched too much pro play, but, I could do some theory crafting. I think one of the things, Viper's very good on this map. You've been seeing a lot when you're talking about controllers. Omen as well, the Dome Smokes, Brim as well. Astra could be really good. And then you can get the Moroccan too, Cypher. I think he's really good in this one. When you talk about duelists, though, maybe Yoru, you get DP kind of across the map, especially when you're in Los Angeles. That sort of thing could be really good.
So four smokers is the
Yeah, and then Agent 19, something like that.
Wait, but neither of these teams are running that. Instead, they're running a much more sane number of smokers, maybe 1, maybe 2. And Heather, as we are into the agent select here, EG, a really interesting comp here with the solo harbor.
It is an interesting comp. It's one where they had some decent success on against Shopify. Obviously, Shopify hasn't played this yet beyond that map against EG. So I don't know. It worked for EG one time, but no one seems to be winning their map picks right now.
Yeah, it has been topsy-turvy all over the place. Both these teams, though,
Yeah.
I think have kind of this unique perspective of having played each other here once.
Yeah, I personally really like, jokes aside about compositions, I really like what EG is running here. The Fade with the Harbor, and then the Breach as well. Fade is really good with the elevation that you have with the eyes to control mid, and Breach too, when you think about the amount of stuff that you're trying to get early access to, like we just saw in Haven. There's a lot of lanes here that make you really comfortable. It's a single controller on Harbor. That's the one hang-up that I have, but I think the walls and the dynamic walls that you can get where you can flip things around is much better than some of the more static stuff that you get from Viper, and as well the dome smokes from Omen, where you could get over them a lot of times.
Well, last time we saw this map, EG won it 13-10. They're up 2-1 in the series right now. If they can close out here, they can eliminate Shopify from GC3, put their chances of going to Brazil in the hands of V1 instead, and well, get the highest placement they've ever had, the first grand final. All that is on the line as we hop into Sunset with Potter and Vance.
And as Heather basically lined up here this series, nobody has been winning their own maps. So now that EG's picking up Sunset, although they've beaten Shopify Rebellion the last time these two teams faced against each other, there's a chance we might get a Might 5 here, Potter.
Yeah, I think that's a pattern that we can definitely lean into for sure. Both squads absolutely doing their homework and just coming back and swinging hard on the maps that they've lost previously. So certainly for Sunset, I gotta be honest with you, Vans. I don't know nothing about this map. I don't know nothing about this map. I have a little cheat sheet up next to me for the call outs, but I'm excited. I'm excited to watch what both of these teams bring to the table and learn with everyone else about this map.
That's the beauty of this map for sure. A lot of teams coming in with different compositions. Trial and error pretty much, as yes, we'll definitely learn to see what's going well, what's not going well for either of these teams as we kick things off now with EG on the attack and Shopify Rebellion here. Just having 3 players stacked up on the B site and playing a very passive middle to start.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see that they on that harbor already using that cascade towards mid to cut off that line of sight, and that garners them that mid control that they wanted. Now right now the defenders understand that they don't have mid control, but they're okay with that. They've given it up. Strong side is towards this B. Sentinel alone towards A. Now this is a long corridor.
Yeah,
A very long corridor.
the elbow's definitely hard to take. The left side also very difficult, even if you smoke that up, and especially if you're playing single controller. Any type of wall that comes out could be an indication that the hit's coming through. And it starts off here with the fault line. And there's the high tide across to cut off the A site, preventing the rotation coming through from the A link. First blood about to come in towards the back of the A site. And that's Lori with 2 kills.
30 seconds left.
EG all over the board this time around on the pistol as they get a plant, or trying to find a plant. They opt to go for a safe plant.
And as this retake comes through, EG should be able to just clean up shop, and they deserve it. They deserve to have a flawless round because the entry pathing and this set piece in this pistol for this A execute was beautiful. I mean, you saw Keen C's paint shells just perfectly placed in what I imagine is a very typical Cypher spot for Flowerful. As soon as they knocked out that Cypher cam and as soon as no bullets came shooting back from the defenders, Keen C just perfectly placed that paint shell and really flushed out Flowerful's positioning there. So a great start here for EG. And as I mentioned, that long corridor at A, I'll be curious to see if Cypher keeps and continues to keep that own camera in the site or tries to venture out and places it a little bit deeper. But this time the fighters are towards A, and it looks like the Sentinels are towards B here for the defenders in Shopify.
Yeah, and also on the attack, looking at EG's own Cypher. Setting up a trip here towards B main to prevent any pushes, but really trying to cover both angles. One with the camera, one with their body, one with the trip, while the rest of the team can try to work up that middle slowly but surely. Trying to play the contact play back towards the orb. KP just got spotted and forced to fall back.
A little bit of damage. And I like that KP just says, never mind, I'm not going to fall all the way back. I'm going to see if they actually come deeper. You can see that right away Cebu is reacting and responding, keeping and maintaining more bodies towards this B.
That's a double pump.
Stop. Oh.
Fault line high tide and to pivot back towards the A site. This is all being heard right now by KP. Not clear on the right side, close range, but unfortunately, it's only a classic. Lori running out of bullets, but at least she has her teammates with her, and the EG are moving into an open A site.
Really securing the kill. I like it, Lori. I like it a lot. At least Cebu is able to hunt down Keen C there, but Lori again is there to quickly trade, and that's it. I mean, that's like a typical Breeze attack side play there, right? I mean, and this map has a lot of similarities, especially towards this middle area anyway, towards that top mid. And that's how kind of EG played it this round.
Yeah.
Tug and pull, seesaw, and pivot their way back towards A. It worked out pretty well because Shopify didn't have the weaponry. But that'll be interesting to see if they do it again, what happens when a bunch of rifles are spamming it through. But
I agree with you. The premise of it is really like the new Breeze too, with the removal of the cave. There's one less angle to get into, or in rather, to get control towards the A site.
Bring them down.
And 4-1s are usually the case here with the Sentinel watching the flank. 4 players pushing in towards this B site. Satchels, yeah, slightly missed, but still got a kill.
they still get one. They still get one. And that's all they need. I mean, 4 players, 3 actually, are grouped up. The spike will go down, and Starbound is on that long play.
Things are looking good here for the bonus round for EG. Lori with the kill long range with the Spectre. KP, last player standing.
She has no idea where Starbound is.
Starbound's all the way back towards Boba. The tap, sticking it to halfway at least, trying to clear out towards the front. The tap on the second. And the Bulldog, the burst misses. Cage then coming up. Full stick, the sprayer, then the cross. Now an opportunity for KP to run through it. It's Starbound to get the shot with the Ghost. And EG win the bonus.
Oh, KP is gonna be face palming there. Definitely had the chance to just stick it as soon as that bird connected, and I mean, really, that Cypher Cage helped her out, right, for that stick. But man, what a clutch, what a play! And as soon as this hit came through, you know, we called it out. Starbound was on that long con play, always on that flank, and it ends up paying hugely. I mean, EG are completely controlling the pace so far on this attack side.
That's something that Shopify Rebellion will have to be worried about, where usually Panini on the alert rolls as the Viper has been the one instilling that extra fear against EG. But EG on
Also,
this map,
Vance,
though, is feeling it.
On this eco round, while things will probably, hopefully, stay calm, we gotta talk about this Boba call out, because I confirmed and verified that on this cheat sheet, it is called Boba. But is that a you thing, or is that a
No,
everyone
it's
thing?
called Boba. It's an everyone thing.
actually called Boba?
There's an actual Boba shop.
Okay, I love that. Okay.
Unfortunately, it's closed. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, there for EG at least. Nice little utility coming out. Oh, okay, even a showstopper. EG really want to come in here. And not afraid of using these ults very early, knowing that Shopify Rebellion are on an eco. And confident enough that they could keep cycling ult after ult, especially when Lori's one away.
Yeah, and I love how Lori is playing this phase right now, right? Having the util out ready to proc, ready to react just instantly faster. Knows she doesn't have to go for the fancy headshot duels at all times. But Starbound is going for the fancy headshot duels. Go get him.
Fancy headshot duel, sprays through cages, and there's Lori ready with the Nightfall in the next round. Whoa, 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 calm down. Don't talk to me like that.
Poking the fire is the agents in the game right now. But Lori, I mean, continuing on into map 4 here, and already has a Fade ultimate on the board.
And that's going to be very potent looking at Shopify Rebellion's gun round here. The Nightfall covering so much space on either of these hits that you want to take on A or B. to start things off, there is a 4-1 split, but it's not with the Cypher. Trying to group up to see if there's any early aggression coming out from Shopify Rebellion to work the control back from the A orb. Instead, Panini's walked up.
Yeah, it's so antsy. It's so antsy. I mean, Thea, you can see that she absolutely has an inkling, but Panini, at any point, depending on what kind of contact her players are getting towards this A or towards this mid, can make any sort of move.
I swear that breach is going to be important. The fault lines you can get across market, the fault lines you get across B main, pressure so much, and yeah, they'll clear the information, but EG decides to press forward at the top middle to take control towards the spawn, to split back towards the A side. Nightfall then comes out. It's going to hit a couple of players, only one player maybe. Fire falls in the back of the site. Nice little shot there that they had to answer right back with a neural theft. Information now gathered on both ends. Advantage still for EG as they storm inside the A site.
30 seconds left.
Counter hat coming out on the attack though. Identifying all 3 players remaining.
Spike planted.
That was a little bit of an overpeak there from Kinsey, a 3 versus 3. Lori, by her lonesome, punished by Panini. Both players now anchored inside the site for EG. Powerpixel playing behind arena neck boxes.
One enemy
Snakebite pushes him away as Powerpixel has to clutch a 2v1. Nice little shot on the first and connects on the second. The Red Bull clutch with the reset on the aim.
And the trigger discipline to be able to just reset that is unbelievable. I mean, this was such a swingy round. Even when you called it, Vans, that advantages, at least in bodies, was for EG. That whole time, Shopify had the pinch incoming. They had the retake in motion. At every point, EG always felt the pressure the entire duration of that round. But it's Powerpixel coming up huge, and it's just the breach. I feel like Powerpixel is just a natural breach player. I mean, and at any point when they're on breach, I'm seeing this player pop off.
Yeah. And maybe it's one of those moments where those fault lines are really not coming and tallying up in the assists column, but Powerpixel is doing a great job creating that space for their teammates to move through. So being a great support player and then also being a clutch player inside the site, it looks really complete right now from the 5 rounds we've seen for EG on this map of Sunset.
Yeah, and Shopify, a breather coming in right in the nick of time. They've got to be able to recollect themselves here. And I mean, you know, we talked about in map 1 before it even started, how consistent can the superstar be on Shopify's side. And Saunders having a little bit of a slower start, which is okay. You know, not a lot of opportunities so far, but gotta be able to figure out a way to get yourself back into this one.
Agreed. And it won't be potentially this round over, but as I say that 30 rounds are usually really good for these teams. As it's that same one, the Spectre and Pistols. Spectre in the hands of KP playing at the top of middle. Orb now picked up by Thea. That allows a Reckon to be activated. And we talked about cycling these ults. Before we had a Showstopper, then the Nightfall. Now we have 2 ults to work with here on the attack.
Good utility coming out. A lot of pings, and Kinsey is gonna retake all this ground. All the space that Shopify had.
Free space on
This
top
is
mid.
looking like pistol. This is looking like pistol round again.
Even Kinsey here's the rotate coming back towards the spawn. Prowler just to lead the charge. Saunder playing from the spawn. Now gives her position away. Lori's going to try to fight them. Will be 2 easy kills, even spotting the 3rd, but won't capitalize on that one at least. With that said, though, as you caught some players rotating it across, you couldn't capitalize on kills. It might be the round secured now for EG.
Should definitely be secured. There it is. A little greedy coming out for some of these players, but I get it. These egos are juicy.
Well, that's 2 kills and a death, right? That's 3 ult orbs for Lori.
Exactly.
Just in one round.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm convinced. Let's do it.
Because this is an eco round now for Shopify Rebellion, Sidui tries to move forward and make it a little bit more expensive than it needs to be for EG. Does some armor damage, gets a kill on top of that, but EG at the end of the day is still 6.6 rounds ahead.
Yeah, and this is quite scary if you're on the side of Shopify. You know, on the first 3 maps of this series so far, we've had to say things like, okay, now KeenC's got an operator on board. This is where EG should start to look dominant. But KeenC's just being dominant with no op right now so far at all. Every player is stepping up. It's been Lori who's been kind of leading the charge. So Shopify need to figure out how to stop the bleeding here, and we consistently see that they are doing just that. Sonder has fighters consistently with her to try to set her up for some duels, and right now they're going hunting. They really want to find KeenC.
Pushing for it. Orb not being tapped. You're hitting that tap line. They know that it's Sonder working up towards the A side. Meanwhile, though, on B, the attackers did pick up the orb for Lori. So both teams cycling the objective of controlling the orbs. And now with a minute left, it's time for the attackers to try to find that information and to regain that space.
And this works out so well for Shopify. The fact that they made so much noise in the beginning of the round towards A, but they still are standing their ground here. Oh, but that ultimate. Okay.
That's how you push them back.
That makes them push back. That'll push them back. That'll do it.
How about a Rolling Thunder on top of that?
Let's do it.
So far, not needed. Satchels are good enough here, and a nice little seize. But Sonder and Subui anchoring the sights perfectly. Maybe they did need that Rolling Thunder after all. Nightfall, though, right back out. 2 versus 1. Spots them both. Picks up the spikes. 20 seconds left. Oh, she's trying to run that fear. Trying to make them think that she ran out towards the A site.
Yeah, she hears them running now.
10 seconds left.
I think she heard that footstep. She's going to be as patient as she can right at the 4 mark. Oh, but they heard her.
Oh, yeah.
Spike planted.
And
She's
showstopper.
got to find some time to reload as well. This is going to be tough. Okay, she does get it off. No! She failed to reload, man.
And it's not planted for her. Unless she has to come back towards the main. 9 bullets left.
Enemy remaining.
There's that first one. It would be the ace for the clutch. The jump peek, the full stick, the headshot for the ace!
I did all the work.
Only 5 bullets. Why did I say only 5 bullets, man? I said she has 5 bullets.
That's all
There's only
needs.
2 enemies.
That's all she
She
needs.
has enough. Holy moly, Lori is just
She's
so crisp
gaming.
with it. Yeah.
Oh my god. She is working that map ever since that Haven being on top of the scoreboard, dropping 20 kills, this time over 15 already in 7 rounds, clutching for the team. And also allowing an ultimate to still be available for EG in round number 8. And it had done such a great job funneling these through and not allowing Shopify Rebellion to really set up for anything.
Well, that's a huge pick. Huge pick for Shopify to start things off with. Able to find the rat, and now all this sound cue, all this noise, this should really tell Shopify everything they need to know.
They're just gonna leave the pit out there, fight the spawn instead. EG, or what, fighting towards where? Boba. Whatever, that's Boba. See that?
Boba. Yes, sir.
Seekers then came out though for the defense. KP getting information, Lori playing close towards the market, Showstopper coming out too. Rolling Thunder to try to stop back the Showstopper. Spike now killed. But the players are still stuck inside that pit, so that allows EG to really fight towards the spawn. And now Lori inching back towards the market with support, letting Power Pixel know that a player is pushing out. It's all up to Panini and KP on the lower buy. Make that only Panini. Walking back up, now spot it. Misses a shot, but again, the information is there for Power Pixel to just get off the spike, get the kill, and put EG at 8.
This round was wild.
It
round
was.
was wild. It was one of those rounds that, you know, just everyone in the server at that point, everyone knew where everyone was, you know, and it just becomes a DM at that point. There's no defaulting, there's no figuring anything out.
It was a team DM.
EG comes out on top. Yeah, EG comes out on top. I mean, Lori was always in that forward position, and she's feeling good.
Yeah.
Anytime there's an anti-eco on the board, she's up there. She's in there, baby.
Already 3 away from another Nightfall in. Despite that, the silver lining for Shopify Rebellion is that, yes, they did make it a 1v1 with the lower buy. So they still should regain that confidence that, you know what, EG are not invincible on their attack half thus yet. You run those protocols, playing like a team DM, might still be able to win these gunfights.
Kinsey just saw the trip as well in mid. Good info for EG here.
Broken.
Yeah. Took care of that. In this long corridor that Shopify have maintained control of, I mean, there's no harbor ult to push them off of this edge now. So they should be able to maintain this A main control. Saunders still has paint shells and double satchels. This is exactly the kind of choke point Saunders loves.
Paint Shell's trying to push him back because we got a trade-off. And that's why that fade is really good. Prowler, Haunt, trying to push them away. 2 players now identified inside the A site. As with the high tide coming through and 30 seconds left, the split's coming across from both elbow and the A link. There's a nice little peek off by Lori. Cleared up the corner by the Rainite boxes. Back towards the default spot. Lori once again. It's Lori's game. What a tap on the third. She's on to something so far. My God, 9-0 and a Nightfall ready.
She's on to everything.
Yep.
She's on to everything. And she's styling at this point. I mean, just the one tap fadeaway once again coming out in this best of 5 for Lori. I've lost count how many times she's done that, but and this round was I feel for KP. I really feel for KP. I don't know which player on the side of Shopify have been in that corner at A site in this crossfire. We saw it on pistol round.
Yeah, I
we
think it
saw
was
it on
Sonder.
that first gun round. And now we're seeing it again for EG. They're hard clearing it now. So the communications, they have to come through for Shopify. And for these crossfires, I think they've got to be a little bit more committed for each other here.
But it might be a later round. As Shopify Rebellion, once again, the economy broken. Best weapons are a Spectre and a Stinger. Followed by a couple of Sheriffs. And spread across the map. Again, trying to use those Sheriffs for range. Well, it becomes free space gain for EG towards market.
Wave crashing. Face your fear.
Utility has been doing a great job just allowing Keen C to only have to focus on one line. Like the last thing you want as a duelist when you're spacing and taking on all the aggro is having to look left, right, center, right side, back side, flank side. So Harbor, back pocket allows you to really just cut off whatever duel you want. And the farming, it's going to continue. It just continues.
The Nightfall went out to clear towards the A main. You're like, hey, why are you using another ult against an eco? Well, that allows for them to get the plant and allows this post-positioning plant to happen so that Kinsey can get kills and get a showstopper ready off those. So the playbook right now for EG has been on point here from the beginning until now. And hopefully, at least if you're a fan of EG, this continues on for the last few rounds. But for Shopify Rebellion, they had to figure out something here. They've already burnt an early timeout at the beginning of this half, and they might want to try to save it for the second half. But at this point, I don't even know if a second half is going to happen, Potter.
Yeah, it's looking tough. It's definitely looking tough. And even EG's setup right here to start, you can see Keen C's a little bit spaced away from the rest of the pack. If at any point contact happens, you bet your booty Keen C's flying in there with the showstopper to react. So a lot of high pressure duels about to come, and just the elbow. Just the elbow, and Thea just splashes damage.
You already see the lineup too from Power Pixel, ready to answer back if there was more pressure. The fault lane was going to come across to help that showstopper too. But now as you're keeping players anchored from Shopify towards this B site, even the flash just got hurt there. That's why Power Pixel turned around. EG's pivoting towards a weaker site, towards A.
Yeah, and this A hold has been non-existent for Shopify so far. We'll see if Community's utility can come into play and change things for this A site, because EG, they're fully committed.
Sees 2, showstopper, no contact. Shopify's already on a rotate. 5-5, we get some trips, we get some trap kills. Not gonna happen, and not gonna happen for any kills at all, with the exception of 2 for Shopify Rebellion. But at the end of the day, it's still the round for EG. 11-0. 11-0.
Yeah, and you know, maybe EG, they're just looking so much more comfortable. You know, because we talked about that change of Panini, the Viper, coming on to be the now new defender. And as soon as EG saw that change, as soon as that Viper orb came up and the Molotovs came down, they just paused for a second, ran past it. And that kind of shift and still remaining confident and not really getting flustered at all. If you're Shopify, that's not what you want. You want to have a little bit of presence and a little bit of pressure, but EG, they're not feeling any of it.
Zero. Pressure is going to happen for Shopify Rebellion despite no matter where their positions are in this round number 12. Reckoning available for Thea. Almost feels that they've had every single round since the gun round, most likely here for EG. As they're looking to work back towards a mid-control, the Prowler spotting information on one player on the left side of market.
Pistol round repeat. Oh, but KP just gets laid out this time. PC's just gonna have free reign, full control.
And a Reckoning is gonna get the audio cue that somebody's towards elbow. That is Sibui.
That's something.
The paranoia to slow things down for a bit, just for a bit. As a drive-by just came through by Kinsey. Disadvantage now for Shopify Rebellion. The hat being thrown out. Silver lining once again for the attempt of a retake for Shopify Rebellion. 3 players pinned up inside the site. High tide going back up again. And just funneling the players into one angle.
They are providing a little bit of assistance here. Power Pixel's barely just limping, but Power Pixel's been hitting those one taps all half long. So
limping, but still with
it's
a
all
power
good.
kick. Rolling Thunder on the last. And it's 12-0 at the half. At that point, serious point. And a chance to make it to the grand finals now. The first time for the Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I just had to call out Thea's utility there because even though that high tide really didn't have any impact, the cascades so far in this half have. I mean, whether they're farming the Thea ultimate, I think we've seen 2 so far. Maybe that was the 3rd one. But just blocking off all the rotates, right? And this pace, I mean, this confidence that the walls are giving Keen C and Lori, they've just been unstoppable.
Yeah.
We're going over to the defense this time around, though. So we'll see what that turns into as far as for stopping power, because Harbor on the defense can be kind of tricky.
But that's also why you have Seize Nade available, a fault line available, traps all over the place from the Cypher. They have a lot of opportunities to go for trap plays for EG on the defense. Trap plays might not be needed. Kinsey getting the first dink off the Sonder. There's those paint shells. Fault line to assist. Lori to run down. 4 kills away of moving to the grand finals. Re-heal coming up on the attack for Shopify. Yeah, silver lining. Yeah, gets the first pick right after. Might be it right here. Panini. Again, the lurk cannot be activated. Now Panini has to clutch. Wall up from the Viper. First dink, but not enough.
Defenders
One Titan down and 1 more to go. The Evil Geniuses are going to the grand finals of the Valorant Game Changers here in North America.
Wow, Vans, this, what a statement. You know, the last map I thought was a statement, but I could not have even guessed ever that a 13-0 was coming. I'm gonna have to look into it. I don't know how many 13-0s we've ever had this deep into the tournament and versus 2 such heavy-hitting teams, but that's gotta be one of, if not the most dominant map I've seen in Game Changers so far.
I agree with you. Not only that dominant map from a team, but dominant 2 maps from a player from Lori on those last 2. I think she definitely popped off, and EG, they got to be happy. Think about this, Potter. This was something that Paula was talking about. They've only been around for a week, and within a week of practice for EG, do they have the Potter buff right now where they made it this far now to the grand finals?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, both squads coming in with 2 new players, right? Definitely both squads feeling reinvigorated. That fresh blood, you can definitely see either there was firepower upgrades, vibe upgrades all around, certainly. I mean, EG looked unstoppable, and Shopify, I'm salty for them.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have gone out like that. Sunset, it's just, I don't want to send Shopify home off a sunset, man.
As the sun goes down, it's still not over yet, though. Shopify Rebellion might still be able to wake up and still make it to Brazil, because for EG, they still have to beat version 1 to make it through. If not, it's still Shopify Rebellion. So, silver lining if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan. We'll let the desk break it all down. So let's toss it back to Mimi and everybody else.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, we have history in front of us. 5 out of 8 Game Changers Grand Finals have been between the Cloud9 core and the Shopify Rebellion squad. And for the first time in what feels like forever, bar that blip in GC2, it is a new squad joining that really small list of teams who can make it that far. Evil Geniuses into their first ever Grand Final, and Bala in what incredible fashion.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 6th team ever out of 9 Grand Finals now joining here for EG. And to 13-0 them, Potter was asking if this has ever happened this deep in a tournament. And my goodness, I just looked at all the Game Changers, lower bracket finals and upper and Grand Finals, never happened this deep. This is crazy. I wonder how far back we have to go to actually find a 13-0 at this level, because this is crazy.
It's just so much, nothing. There was nothing from Shopify at all this match. EG had complete control throughout the entire map. They did whatever the heck they wanted to do middle. They were taking control. Essentially, Shopify was just pushing to the extremities and were forced to retake in a disadvantage. There was nothing they could do. The entire team from EG, especially Lori, against her old team that let her go, had a statement to be made here.
How could she do that to them? That's crazy.
After all they've been through, she takes the opportunity to just decimate them and make it to another Game Changers Grand Final. You have to give so much credit to Lori as an individual. But another player who was electric throughout this series was Kinsey, who we've talked about. The best stats of anyone in this event, and they are just continuing to put up those numbers, Bala.
Yeah, Kinsey was amazing. They were so good this series with the AWP, on the first map, on Split, on Raze, like unbelievable stuff. Breaking the kill record ever for Game Changers main events at 36 on Split in that double OT. That's ridiculous. This definitely the MVP, and also clearly was the best player in the server today. Absolutely, without a doubt.
And you know, I think it's teeing up for a very, very exciting matchup between the two top duelists, clearly in all of Game Changers. So tomorrow, that matchup between Kinsey and Fluorescent is going to be electric.
It's going to be such a good one to watch. But we're not done for today. We're going to have an interview with Thea, and we're going to get you folks ready for that Grand Final coming up tomorrow. A quick break, though, to take a look at your Prime Gaming post-match highlights.
I was taught to hustle through the pain. My body and soul.
Trailblazer? I like the dog. It's more cuter.
Trailblazer 100%. I feel like the Sky Dog just gets so much value, and the Silver Drone, since it got nerfed, it's like, I swear it's like only 2 seconds and you can barely get any info with it.
Ooh, Trailblazer. I just like the speed of it, and personally, I'm a big fan of the stun.
Trailblazer. Yeah, I prefer it because like you can stun people, and also like just the movement with it. Like you can get more info with it if you're good at it.
Definitely Trailblazer. Trailblazer is Sky's dog, right? Because who doesn't love a good dog? Just goes woof woof and just you're able to see everything at that point.
I honestly just prefer Sky over Silva.
Spacebar, because other FPS games, I know they use scroll wheel, but I think spacebar is just better.
Definitely mouse scroll wheel jump. I've played other FPS games since I was like 13 years old, and that has been my bind ever since, so I'm just used to it.
Spacebar all the way. I'm a bit old school. Like in other FPS games, I never use scroll wheel to jump, just because when I'm taking a gunfight or something, I don't want to accidentally jump, or even when I'm messing with utility, I don't want to accidentally jump.
I personally jump with space just because it's like the default settings in Valorant, and I didn't really bother changing. But my movement isn't the greatest because of it.
I'm gonna have to say jump with space, and I know people are gonna be like, oh no, but honestly, like, I used to play Jet a lot, and you can't really like activate her passive unless you use spacebar, so that's my justification. I'm just gonna say I was a Jet main. I'm not anymore, but like,
I jump with spacebar. I use it for other FPS games and use it for Valorant too.
One tap. Smooth Alexander 1322 crosshair green. Smooth one tap slow aiming Valorant.
I'm definitely a flick type of person, just because I don't get flicks that often since my sense is like really low. So just getting a flick is insane.
One tap. I think one tap's more clean. I've never been impressed by flicky aim Twitter worthy clip bait. I think it's dumb.
One tap. I like when people have really good crosser placement instead of having like to flick everywhere. I think it's much more consistent.
ooh, I love a good one tap. I think flicking is like cooler looking, but the one tap just feels better. Like when you just hit the one tap on the head, you're like, yes, beautiful, perfect, chef's kiss.
I'm more of a one tap. I'm not really good at flicking, so.
French fries. Hundo P. Like, you know the McDonald's like French fries? They're so fire.
Definitely pizza, just because like fries are a side dish and pizza's like the main dish, and you can get so many toppings. Like I love getting mushrooms and Italian sausage on my pizza for sure.
Fries all the way. I still have yet to have a pizza since the last one put me in the hospital.
I'm allergic to a lot of things on pizza, so I'm gonna say fries.
Oh, pizza or fries, because I love both. Like, I've literally said before that my favorite food might be a potato, because you could just be so diverse with a potato, and you can have like fries, waffle fries, baked potato. But I'm gonna have to go with pizza, just because like I feel like it's more filling.
That one's easy for me. I would pick fries every day. I just really like potatoes in general, like mashed potatoes, fries, chips.
Welcome back to Valorant Game Changers North America, where we've just locked in our final finalist here. It's of course Evil Geniuses completing their upset with a 13-0. And for your Verizon post-match interview, I've got a guest with me. Thea, welcome. I wanted to start off by asking you, you've played in every single Game Changers, even before Game Changers, in the For the Women's Summer Showdown. You've been there for every single event. And finally, you have an opportunity to play in a grand final. Well, what does it mean to you?
I am just overwhelmed with happiness right now. I literally feel like I'm in a dream because of how perfect my teammates are. Literally, like, don't know what I did to deserve all of them. I'm just so happy right now and so proud of everybody.
And I mean, perfect's the exact word for it. You 13-0 to get it over the line. What changed between the last time you played Sunset against Shopify and this time to get that outrageous result?
Okay, well, I mean, I got like what, 3 more days worth of IGLing in, and I was just so confident. Honestly, like that was just it was just so clean because we knew exactly what we wanted to do. We knew exactly our game plan. We are a team that has been together for less than 20 days. We literally just play our game. We have amazing comms, amazing teamwork, and that's how we win. We literally just all put in 100% effort and and it works out.
It's unbelievable. And for you as a player, from your time back at that very first Game Changers event, even your career before then, you were for a long while in your career the upcoming player. You played with that core of Dignitas for so long. Now you're out here leading your own team, really the only member of that initial roster there. What has your growth as a player been like from all those years grinding to get here to now here in your first grand final?
I'm just saying, I was not a smart player before. Before I met my coach Jovi, he definitely taught me how to play Valorant. I was just a freaking chamber main, freaking little cipher main back then. Now I like completely understand how the game works, and now I'm IGLing. I don't care if I have 5 kills or 20 kills. It literally doesn't matter as long as I put my team in the right positions and like they just play everything out beautifully. I know how I want the round to go, and they play it out for me.
It shows through so much. You guys have already broken down every previous accomplishment, every previous barrier you've been through. But you have one last test. You haven't qualified to Brazil yet. You would have to beat version 1 tomorrow to be able to do so. You've been on an incredible run thus far. What would it take to achieve that goal, to win Game Changers tomorrow?
We just gotta play like how we played today, how we're playing every day, you know? We're playing one day at a time. Like I say every day, we're just happy to play another day of Valorant. Literally, that's all we want to do, right? We're all just freaking Valorant grinders. So the fact that we just get to play another day is beautiful. It doesn't matter what team it is. We're just gonna go in there and have fun and play our game, and whatever happens, happens. Who knows?
That's really a beautiful mentality to have, and I can't wait to watch that game tomorrow. Before I let you go, Thea, just want to give you a moment. Shout out teammates, family, anyone you want.
Thank you, SR, for giving us Lori. Thank you. Shout out to all of our fans, our 10 fans on EG. I'm really happy, and I'm really glad to show off like how amazing my teammates are. Like they deserve to be the top of the top because they really give it their all, and I'm just so proud of us. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this interview, and really, best of luck tomorrow in the finals.
Thank you.
That does it for our Verizon post-match interview, and I'll bring back in the 2 analysts here. Guys, that's just such a special moment to see this whole journey for Thea finally come to conclusion, and not conclusion yet, but get that one step closer. Sapphire, you're someone who's known her since the very beginning, and now she's here in the finals of Game Changers.
It's incredible. Bach and I were talking about that yesterday. We've known this player since she was 15 years old, showing up to local LAN parties. She wanted so bad to be on a team, and now she's finally made it, and she transitioned to Valorant, and, you know, she's just been learning, and she's a player that she's always so receptive to feedback, and you know, she's always has such a good mindset for the game, and I'm so proud to see her in the grand finals.
Sorry, I'm a little confused here. You know, you've known her for a while. I'm just getting, you know, introduced to her throughout this. A week? IGLing for the first time? Are you serious? And she's in the grand finals and she's soaking it up like that? Nah, she's a sponge. That's crazy. That is amazing. A week of IGLing. It's very difficult. That's a skill that you can count on your fingers the amount of good IGLs in North America and in all the different regions as well. Like it's a hot commodity. To be able to just pick that up in a week?
And the thing is, like, it's ridiculous too, because every other top IGL you talk about, it's like, oh, Mel has been IGLing for 3 years since the beginning with the same roster, with the same core. It's like, oh, Finesse he just turned 80 years old. He has more experience than anyone else in the world. And she's just picking it up immediately. This player's ability to learn is just insane, Heather.
It's just, yeah, so much credit to her for all the time she's put in, all the hard work. Like you said, she's a sponge and soaking up all this knowledge, and now she's finally putting into practice in a grand finals for Valorant.
It's a huge moment for them. But before we close out the day and move on to that grand finals, we do have to take a look at our Aim Lab flick of the day. A lot of great moments, but of course, it had to come from Bala. This final map of Sunset, and who else but Lori?
Yeah, who else? And I'm laughing because just in that interview with Thea, she's like, "Thank you, Shopify."
I mean, it was
we
a
just
great
13-0'd, by the way. Yeah, thank you for Lori, for giving us Lori. And yeah, this is the results. It's EG in the grand finals. Lori with the MLF pick of the day, a ridiculous 1v4 in that moment. The ace as well. It's just crazy what they're able to put together here.
It's been so impressive, and what a journey to get here as well. As we look at the bracket, it is down to just those final 2 teams, and there is still a lot to play for. Heather, if EG want to go to Brazil along with version 1, they have to be the first team to beat them in a series.
Yeah, it's a tall task, but I mean, my God, this team is looking better than ever. They just 13-0'd Shopify that is in almost every grand final. So, you know, if it's going to be any time, it's going to be now for EG.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest advantages they have coming into this is that they haven't played against V1 in this tournament. Like, yeah, Shopify, they rematched them a couple times, but now they've got their feet under them. They're no longer in. I mean, they're still coming from the lower bracket, but like they're playing against V1 for the first time, and they are confident after what we just saw in that series right there. To be able to 13-0 one of the most accomplished teams ever in North American Game Changers to make it to the grand finals, that's the sort of thing that you need to go up when you're going back up into the upper bracket to face against V1 in this grand finals. But it's going to be hard. It's absolutely going to be hard. And the best part about it, though, is that their fate is in their hands. They absolutely have a chance here to make it to Brazil, to make it to the international line at the end of the year.
Well, a lot still to be played for tomorrow. That all gets started at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, and there's a lot on the line. Either Evil Geniuses can complete really the biggest upset run possible, be the second squad to Brazil, be the first team to beat version 1, or version 1 will complete their perfect year in their freshman year. 3 game changers in a row, not a series dropped, on their way to the championship in Brazil. We find all of that out at the same time in the same place tomorrow. So I thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you then.
I feel like everyone's gonna say the same answer for this.
I'm probably biased.
Ooh, the most undervalued role.
I would say initiator, yes, because a lot of times the duelists get like most of the attention, but there is so much setup that comes with initiators.
I think it's initiator, and the reason for that is that you have the responsibility to be vocal with your utility. Like if you're entering a post plan or whatever, you're kind of in charge of like the mid round or like initiating things. But I've had problems where teams expect a lot more from you. Like, yes, you have to be vocal. Yes, you also have to know exactly when your teammate wants the utility. Like maybe they don't comment, but you should just know. Or like you should have done this with your flash or your aftershock instead of like placing it here or there. So it can get really nitpicky.
I think flex or like flashes is definitely the most undervalued role and the most overlooked. A lot of people like complain about like flashes players or flex players having like horrible stats or like throwing a bad flash or something, but I've definitely like been the victim of throwing bad flashes and, you know, doing bad.
I gotta say, probably smokes or flashes. I think without either of those roles, it's like you can't do anything. You know, you gotta have one, and you gotta have the backbone, and those are the backbone roles.
Maybe controller, just because a lot of controllers, the smokes kind of set the pace of the game. Like you have your info, they can dart into site and like clear the space, but if you don't have smokes up, then you can't really enter the site.
The flash initiators, yeah, 100%. Like I don't think anyone knows what it feels like to be in Sky Jail because Sky is so good right now.
I mean, obviously the big ones are IGL and Duelist. Like those are the people that obviously like get a lot of the spotlight for good reason. They work very hard, like they're very difficult things to do. I think the role that might not get the most love is a lot of times like the Flash Flex player. A lot of times when you're on that like Flash role, you're on like the Breach or like the KO, and you're not more of like a drawn back, like throwing utility, like picking up the holes in your team.
I think Sentinel is definitely one of them too, because not only do Sentinel players tend to have more of an anchor role, sometimes they are one of those players that are just like sitting playing retake, or sometimes they're always on the opposite side of the map as your team. And I just think someone that has that role needs to be really confident, calm, collected.
Initiator is probably the most undervalued because I feel like we throw the most util for everybody and have the most invisible impact compared to the other roles.
Probably Initiator, because Initiator is, you know, as a duelist main, like the Initiators really set things up for you, and they get intel, and they really have to be so aware of your teammates, what you're trying to do, how you're trying to entry. It's a lot of communication between the duelist and the Initiator.